Thank you very, very much, Tony. And also welcome to each and every one of you. It's a great honor for Notre Dame College Prep to be having this ceremony, but it's a great honor for those men who are brought into the club. Let's give them a great hand, please. There's many things I could probably go on for an hour, but I won't. I'll go on for about 2. But I do want to congratulate each and every one of you. I just hope and pray that you can look back on your days at Notre Dame College Prep. I think back then as Notre Dame High School was named, as a springboard of starting your abilities out in the community. And there's no question, we need you in the community. And you gentlemen are doing a fantastic part. And again, I want to give you a great hand, please.
To talk a little bit about the history of the Hall of Honor. Father Smith alluded to it, but to talk a little bit more in detail, I'd like to call up Mr. William Harrington from the class of 1968, a member of the Hall of Honor. Tux.
Good evening. Before we begin to recognize the 6 people who have been nominated and are going to be inducted tonight into the Hall of Honor, I just wanted to take 1 second to say that Coach Cazole was the first person that I met when I went to Notre Dame, and I can speak for our class and the classes that were right before us and the classes that preceded us, that Tony Cazole was and still is Notre Dame. So, Coach. My role is to talk a little bit about what the Hall of Honor is and what it means to be a part of the Hall of Honor. And I'm a member of the Hall of Honor myself, and I'm proud to be part of that. The Hall of Honor really incorporates the achievement of the 6 people who will be inducted here tonight in one of 3 pillars of education at Notre Dame College Prep. Faith, meaning involvement in your church. Scholarship, meaning achievement in your career. Or service, which means achievement in terms of being active in your community. What I'd like to have you know is that as of tonight, with the induction of the 6 people that you'll hear more about in just a minute, brings to a total of 72 people, 72 alumni who have been inducted into the Hall of Honor. And if you do the math, that's about 0.5% of all of the alumni from Notre Dame. So it's a pretty select group. And with that induction into the Hall of Honor also comes a responsibility. And the responsibility is that we want the new inductees as well as the current Hall of Honor members to devote a part of their talent, their time, or their resources to helping Notre Dame to be a better place to be.
Thank you, Bill. Tonight we are going to induct 6 Dons into the Hall of Honor. These 6 men have demonstrated aspects of faith, scholarship, and service to Notre Dame. And so we will begin. The first Don to be inducted into the Hall will be Michael Brennan from the class of 1965. Mr. Brennan was from St. Juliana Parish. As I mentioned, graduated from Notre Dame College Prep in 1965. As Father Smith alluded to, at that time it was known as Notre Dame High School for Boys. Okay. I'm still working with the college prep thing. Okay. But anyway, he graduated from Notre Dame High School in 1965. Went to the University of Notre Dame, where he was a 1969 graduate. He spent 35 years in investment industry, sales, and trading. In the last 15 years with Morgan Stanley Incorporated. And also here he played rugby for 10 years. Now, I don't know if that's professional or team or what. Okay. Anyway, he married Jacqueline Connor. He's been married to her for 37 years. And the proud parents of Betsy, Drew, JP, and Christopher. Today he is a board member of the Notre Dame Educational Association. So Notre Dame is proud to accept Michael D. Brennan into its Hall of Honor.
Good evening to everyone, and I want to welcome you. First, I want to thank the nominating committee for selecting me to be inducted this evening. I am honored as well as humbled. Secondly, I want to introduce my wife for 37 years, Jackie, and three of our 4 children. Our daughter Betsy Shea, our son JP, son Chris, and his wife Kelly. Unfortunately, our other son Drew and our son-in-law Kevin could not be here this evening. I enrolled as a freshman in 1961. I had 3 older brothers that went to St. George, and so that was a possibility. But I did have a cousin who just had graduated the year before. His name was Roger Casper, and Roger had a wonderful experience at the high school. And that influenced me, and also the fact that about 95% of the young men that I graduated with from St. Juliana's were going to be enrolling at the high school and at Notre Dame College Prep, and it just became a very logical choice. I will say this, I never stood out at the school. The yearbook will state I played freshman football. I was in the pep club as a junior, and I achieved second honors, I believe it was 4 semesters. One year we delivered turkeys on Thanksgiving to needy families. I participated in Justice Under God, which is normally known as JUG, on a few occasions. I attended athletic events and sock hops. Of course, those were always, and those who remember those days, they were always under the watchful eyes of Fathers Corcoran, Zell, Van, or Marcus, who made sure that we didn't dance too close to the girls. It was, all being considered, a normal 4 years of experience for high school. Yet, for the years that I have enrolled, that have followed, I will emphatically tell you that Notre Dame College Prep stood out in me. It has in so many aspects of my life: my Catholic faith and Christian attitude, education and an appreciation for learning as presented by the Holy Cross Fathers and Brothers and the lay faculty, respect for others, discipline, the sacrifice and love of parents and family, fond memories of classmates and times together, especially the EP boys as we were called, riding to school in broken cars, hitchhiking home, Whiteys and Rons, pickup football games and basketball games in Brooks Park, and Sunday tackle football games at Carl Marhofer's beautiful estate. And yes, an occasional beer or two. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention one particular classmate, Brian Lasky, who was taken from us far too early. My life has been rewarding. I've had good health, a successful business career, a special family, including Jackie and our children, grandchildren, and good friends. And now, since 2007, and a conversation I had with Pete Newell, a reconnection with Notre Dame College Prep. There was always a pride in driving by the school and realizing that this is where a part of the strong foundation in my life was instilled. How quickly those 40 years have passed, yet it is most fulfilling now to say that I have returned to be a contributor and shareholder in the Notre Dame College experience, 21st century style. So thank you again, and let me leave you with this thought, and I do not think it's original, but I'll say, yell it loudly, say it proudly, we are Notre Dame College Prep. Go Dons.
Next inductee, the next Don to be eligible for the Hall of Honor, is Frank DiMaria from the class of 1965. Frank is a 1969 graduate of Northern Illinois University with a Bachelor of Science in Finance. He also later on in his life attended Cordon Bleu, and in 1992 graduated from Cordon Bleu and has become an expert in the culinary arts. I guess his masterpieces are in baking and in pastries, so if you're looking for advice, see Frank. He's married to Nancy Frankenberg, and they have 3 children. Katie, who is married to Andy Schneider and has produced a grandchild for the DiMaria family by the name of Charlie. He has a son, Frankie, who's a trader living in Connecticut, and he has a daughter, Karen, who's a trader living in Chicago. He himself retired from the Chicago Board of Trade after being a floor trader for 30 years. He is currently teaching cooking classes, playing hardball. He just told me that he has to leave here because he has a tournament in Florida tomorrow. They just won one tournament. Now he's going back for another tournament. And I said, "Aren't you afraid of the ball?" And he goes, "Okay, anyway, playing hardball." Okay, traveling and wintering in Florida. One of the things he enjoys is living again in his boyhood home in Niles with Nancy, his wife, and he is a member of the Union League Club, the Chicago Board of Trade, and the Shriners. So, welcome to the club, Mr. Frank DiMaria, class of 1965.
And I have two Notre Dame stories. Father Van was the whatever he did then. I think he was the dean or something. What did he do? He was a disciplinarian, yeah. So anyhow, he says, and Father Zell, yeah, he was self-employed. Yeah, exactly, you know. So he says, he comes to me one day. He says, "I got you a job." I said, "What do you mean you got a job?" He says, "I got you a job." He says, "You can get a job cooking at Sears." They had a little, like a lunchroom kind of a thing. I said, "Father, I'm only 15. You're not. You're 16. Watch this." Next day, I get a call from Sears. "Come on in." You know, so he gets me this job, right? I must have worked it for 2 or 3 years. Finally, when I turned 16, he goes, now you go fill out the application," because he was wired, And then after when I graduated my freshman year in college, I had a family tragedy, and I came back for the funeral, and I went to Notre Dame. I was distraught and all that. And I walked into Notre Dame, and Podak, God rest his soul, and 3 or 4 of the priests, they just took me like I was their own kid. They just, I still get choked up thinking about it, but they were just so nice to me, and they took care of me during those 3 or 4 days, like I really belonged. And I wasn't, I was a pain in the ass when I was in high school. The geniuses and the third in the class, that wasn't me. I'm in the middle, and that's where I belong. But that's one of my fondest memories of Notre Dame. They just took care of me, and just really nice. And then I have another brother in the middle who also went to Notre Dame. So we're three Domers, or 3 Dons. And I love the school. I'll do anything to help them and do anything to kind of foster the idea. They were also on my paper route, which is a good thing, And I always get a tip. At Christmas time, they were one of my biggest tippers. What was his name? Oh, Father Dotremont? That's a million years ago, because I was little. I wasn't even in school yet. So, and then across from Notre Dame, right across from Dempster, was an old orchard, a farm. So Father Van comes to me one day, and he goes, "What are you going to do with those tomatoes?" I says, "What tomatoes?" He goes, "There's a whole field of tomatoes back there, unpicked." I says, "Yeah." He says, "Get home, get a wagon. He says, get your ass over there, pick these tomatoes, and knock on doors." I said, "Seriously?" He goes, "Yeah." Worked like a charm. Me and this guy Jerry Bear, who, God rest his soul, he'd also died, to a classmate of mine. And that's what we did. We crossed. I said, "We're not allowed to cross Dempster." He goes, "There's no light." He says, "I'll get you across Dempster." Across Dempster, we'd fill up these tomatoes, so all along the way, they would help me. That was I kind of have a special place in my heart for Notre Dame and the faculty. So, again, thank you very much for this award. That's the 65.
Thank you, Frank. Okay, now Tom Theis moved to Niles with his family in 1952 when Tom was 4 years old. At that time, for as far as you could see from his family's front door, were cornfields, including where Notre Dame High School was later built. Tom attended St. John Brebeuf grade school and then Notre Dame High School and graduated in 1966. He took a bookkeeping course at Notre Dame High School and knew right away that he had found his future career. Tom went on to earn his BS degree in accounting from the University of Illinois at Chicago. Following his college graduation in 1970, he began working for a CPA firm, which is now Legacy Professionals, LLP. He passed the CPA exam, became a partner in the firm in 1980. He's still at Legacy. He's an audit partner and serves as an officer reviewer, where he performs concurring reviews and quality control of financial statements for the firm's clients. He serves on the firm's accounting and audit committee and frequently contributes to the firm's client newsletters. Tom married Marianne Himmis in 1992. Mary Ann taught first grade for many years and recently retired. They have lived in their Norwood Park home in Chicago since 1992. Tom enjoys gardening at home. He's also in a weekly bowling league. He plays on the Legacy softball team, a team that has won the Chicago Accountants League championship for 4 of the last 6 years. He's also an avid outdoorsman, joining a group of friends on hiking, backpacking, and whitewater rafting trips several times each year. Unfortunately, Tom is unable to be here tonight because he is on a 3-week whitewater rafting trip. Say that quick. Whitewater rafting trip in the Grand Canyon. So accepting Tom's award, or giving his acceptance, is Mr. John Ranos, a close friend, also from the Hall of Honor in the class of 1966.
Good evening. Good evening. On behalf of Tom and his family, I want to thank the committee and everybody here for coming this evening. As Tony said, Tom is on a 3-week rafting trip, actually with another one of my classmates, Dave Regella. And Tom has been a very good, close personal friend of mine. We went to grammar school, high school, and college together. So I've known Tom since our days at St. John Brebeuf. And Frankie was a year ahead of us, Frankie DiMaria. So we've known each other for a long, long time. And Tom, like many other friends of mine and other members of this Hall of Honor group, have been very supportive of the high school over the years. Attend the functions, have been supportive financially, attending the functions. I think we've convinced Tom to join the Lifetime Learning Program. And he was when he was nominated and had his interview, he was very excited about opportunities he really didn't even realize existed for alums to come back and help the high school. But again, on behalf of Tom's family and myself included and the rest of the Hall of Honor people, thank you very much.
Robert Michael Zientara, class of 1968. Education, grammar school, St. Juliana's in Niles, where he graduated in 1964. That was an interesting year. That's when I met Joe Petrica, and I also met Bob Zientara, 2 people that I have enjoyed tremendously. After graduating from Notre Dame High School, he went to Washburn Trade School from 1969 to 1972, where he studied cement mason trades. As far as a military record, he was in the Army National Guard from 1969 through 1975. As far as the work history, he was a union cement finisher and foreman, and operator and owner with Local 502. Was with Reliant Concrete for 10 years, Graham Construction Incorporated for 5 years, Alpine Concrete Incorporated as president and principal for 17 years, and then with DeGraff Concrete for 10 years until his retirement last year in 2010. As far as family, he married in 1971 to Maureen Meyer, who was a 1968 graduate of Resurrection High School. He resides in Arlington Heights for the last 32 years. And they have 2 children, Brian, who was born in 1974 and married to Melissa in 2005, and his son Patrick, born in 1977 and married to Sarah in 2001. And Patrick and Sarah have 3 children, Emma, Jack, and Scarlett. Now that is the resume that Mr. Zientara presented to us. I've known Bob quite well. A great guy, and he is done. The next recipient, Robert Michael Zientara.
All right. First of all, there's something that I have to say. Without anything in this world, without the person back there, my dear wife, I wouldn't be anything. So give her a round of applause. And what a lucky evening for me as an individual to live your life, to be successful, to have all the things that God has blessed me with. I promised myself I wasn't going to tear up or cry, and I'm doing the best I can. I'm a very emotional person, as my teammates well know, and my coach well knows. I've been so fortunate to have the leadership that this man gave me, and all the rest of the teachers that are not here, that can't be here, that I wish were here, but that live in my heart. There's two lay teachers right here, right now, and I don't know Mr. Hennessy as well as I'd like to, but Tony and Bill Debates. Now, there's another man that's not here right now who will always be close in my heart, and that's Tom Podak. These men could have taught any place else, but chose to teach us. And they made a difference in all of our lives. And hopefully, if God willing, I can possibly give back to this school what needs to be done for our future. But God bless all of you, and I'm so proud to be here tonight and to be a Don. Thank you.
Next inductee is Mr. Dick Allegretti. Dick graduated from Notre Dame in 1973, having earned varsity letters in both baseball and football. He was named to the ESCC All-Conference Baseball Team 1972 and 73. He was named to the All-Area Team in 1973 and received honorable mention from the Chicago Tribune. He attended Murray State University on a baseball scholarship and majored in marketing. After college, he moved to Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, and began his sales career with Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corporation. Dick has held various leadership positions in Fortune 100 companies, such as Director of Sales Training, and Vice President of Sales for Ameritech, and Director of National Accounts for Avery Dennison Corporation. 2006, Dick returned to Notre Dame as a Senior Development Officer and currently serves as the Director of Major Gifts. He also has coached varsity and sophomore baseball for the past 10 years. He's a member of the Notre Dame Athletic Wall of Fame, a presenter for the Lifetime Learning Series, and represents the school as a board member on the Archdiocesan Development Council. Dick and his wife Kathy celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary this past September, and Dick's three brothers also attended Notre Dame. That's Dave in 75, Joe graduated in 76, and John in 1980. Dick would like also to thank his parents, Joe and Mary Ellen Allegretti, for providing the opportunity to attend Notre Dame, as it has made a significant difference in his life. Ladies and gentlemen, Dick Allegretti.
Thank you all for coming this evening. My two brothers, well, three brothers actually, but two of them showed up on a surprise, and they felt that this was a roast. Each and every one of them said, I have plenty to say this evening, and I said, you may want to save that for the parking lot or something, but sincerely want to thank my brothers Dave, Joe, and John for attending right over here. Thank you. I also want to thank the Hall of Honor Committee, Father Smith as well, for bestowing this very prestigious award upon me. It means a heck of a lot to me, as I'm sure it does to the other recipients this evening. Notre Dame has always been a family. I think you heard Bob, or as I call him, Z, talk about that. 4 hallways. What we all have in common. 4 hallways. But I can call guys from 30 years ago, and they'll call me back. I think that says everything about this school. As a coach at ND, I have a distinct responsibility and opportunity to make a significant difference in young men's lives. I think as Hall of Honor members, we all have that same opportunity to make a difference beyond those four walls. In our community, people we know, people we work with, and people we meet. I'm very honored to know most of you people in this room. I also want to thank this evening my wife Kathy of 10 years, and also my mother-in-law Lee. And again, I really appreciate my brothers taking the time to come out here and share this very, very special evening with me. Thank you very much.
Last, certainly not the least, member to be inducted this evening is Thomas Sommers. Graduated of Notre Dame High School in 1984. Graduate of DePaul University College of Commerce in 1988. Currently president of Sommers and Fehrenbach Incorporated Printing Company located in Chicago. Married to Susan Krachik of Park Ridge in 1990 and resides in Mount Prospect, Illinois. Sue and Tom have 3 children. Matthew, who graduated from Notre Dame College Prep this last June, who's currently a midshipman at the United States Naval Academy. Christopher, who I had the honor of subbing for, he was in the class I subbed for this last week. He's due to graduate in the class of 2013. And they have a daughter, Stephanie, who's currently an 8th grader at St. Raymond de Pentafore in Mount Prospect, Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Sommers.
First, I would like to thank the committee for recognizing me and congratulate all of tonight's honorees. It truly is an honor to be inducted with them and all the current members of the Hall of Honor. However, I do not believe I deserve such an award or any special recognition. Notre Dame has affected my life and the lives of my family in such a positive way that I feel it is I who owes Notre Dame special recognition. I was fortunate that my parents, Tom and Mary, who've made it here tonight, I was fortunate that they knew the value of a faith-based education. The values that I was taught at home were reinforced at ND. It is these values that helped shape the person I am today. Whether it was the top-notch college prep academics that helped me succeed at the next level, the importance of our Catholic faith, that wasn't just part of our religion class, but it was part of every class that we took and part of everyday life at Notre Dame, that helped me make the right decisions throughout my life, or the hard work ethic which was instilled in me while a member of Coach Ogg's wrestling team. These values have since been instilled by my wife Susan and myself and our 3 children, Matthew, Christopher, and Stephanie. Our boys have been lucky enough to be part of that Notre Dame family as well. Notre Dame has been a major reason for all their success. Christopher, who is currently a junior, is excelling both academically and athletically. I have all the confidence that he will be a huge success when he graduates in 2013. Our eldest son, Matthew, who graduated this past year, also benefited tremendously from his ND experience. I know his 4 years at Notre Dame not only prepared him for, but were also one of the main reasons he received his appointment at the United States Naval Academy. So as you can see, my family and I have received so much from Notre Dame. I truly owe a great deal to Notre Dame College Prep, not only to the faculty and staff of my time, but to those who currently strive to make Notre Dame the best it can be. So in closing, I believe the entire alumni has a responsibility to support our school in whatever way we can. As my wife Susan has often said, choosing to send your son to Notre Dame is the best investment a parent can make. It is our job to make sure that this opportunity exists for all future generations of Dons. Thank you.
Speaking on behalf of the 6 members newly inducted into the Hall of Honor is Mr. Michael Brennan, the class of 65. Mr. Brennan.
Good evening again, everyone. I was asked to represent our group, distinguished group, and I really am very proud to be part of these other gentlemen. It really is an honor, I think, to be inducted this evening. To say a few additional words, I trust my thoughts will echo their feelings as well. First, I know that all the inductees are privileged to be a part of the alumni who have been inducted before us and whose plaques are in the Hall of Honor. Many here this evening have unselfishly done much for Notre Dame College Prep. Yet there is more to be accomplished, and it begins with all of us. We must seek a way to assist in contacting our huge alumni base. There are 13,000 of us, and focus their attention back to the school. I offer one solution and an opportunity: the yearbook. I trust most of us still have our senior yearbook. It's probably somewhere in an attic, in a basement, on a shelf, buried under a pile of whatever. I was able to find mine, and it has some pretty good pictures in here. Dust it off and read it. The rewiring we have felt through this experience can spark others in especially looking through the book. Here are some ideas. Find an old classmate. Call to say hello, invite him out for dinner, invite him out for a golf match, invite him to a game at the high school or an event at the school. I did when I invited 2 classmates to the scholarship ceremony this spring. One stated he was blown away by the presentation of the school, how neat and clean it was, and the students who were honored that day. Encourage legacy for a family member or a friend. Establish a scholarship in honor of a classmate, teacher, or an organization that you belonged to when you attended the school. Can you interest yourself or those you contact in assisting the students through, as others have mentioned this evening, the career fair, lifetime learning, or perhaps an internship at your company over the summer? Attend the monthly student mass. It is awesome. It is quite an experience. Examine the material on the Heritage Society, a gift planning program for Notre Dame College Prep, and is being led by Skip Lawson, the class of 1971. Go online and see what is happening, or wear some clothing that says Notre Dame College Prep. Be proud, pound our chests, let's brag about the school. Do you or your classmates know the significance of the green band that I have on this evening? And what it represents, which is the Burke Scholar Program, and its impact on the lives of the 6 young men with their special needs and the entire student body. Witness it. It's amazing. There's much we can accomplish. Attempt to reconnect. The blueprint, ladies and gentlemen, is almost the same since we graduated. When we walk the halls, attend a class, an assembly, or an event, you become a witness to the 802 young men who carry Our Lady and Notre Dame College Prep into the future. There have been positive additions with many more to follow. It is happening through the efforts of Father Smith, Father Cleese, Dan Tully, our principal, a focused executive board, an advancement team who is aggressively seeking support from alumni, family, and friends of the school, and the faculty and staff who share an influence on the lives of the student body every day. All this combines to sustain the vision started back in 1955, a school dedicated to Our Lady, to Mary, educating the mind of the student and enriching the soul and the heart. Thank you for attending this evening, and let us, in our own way, strive to support the spirit, the goals, and the mission of Notre Dame College Prep. Thank you.